of? What kind of text? Davia.
It reminds me of like a list of like definitions.
So what kind of book would be have a list of definitions? What do you think, Alejandro?
Dictionary.
A dictionary. What else maybe? Can you think of any other kind of book that might have some definitions in it? What do you think?
A book, like if you have a glossary.
A glossary in a book? Very good. What do you think? They might have some, if you're trying to get like a definitions of what some things mean, they might have some footnotes on the bottom. Very good. Of some definitions of some words in another language. Good. What do you think? Is that the same kind of book, do you think? Esperanza Rising?
They have Spanish words and
They do have Spanish words, you're right. But that would be like if they have the footnotes at the bottom, that would give you your reference, your little glossary in the back. Yeah. Index, right? Very nice. Also an encyclopedia. That's another one. So what do you notice about these? As you were doing this paper and answering these questions, what did you notice about finding what word fits? What are some of the complications, the difficulties that you had? What did you notice? Well, what made it difficult? What do you think?
Sometimes the phrase like sometimes on the I'm trying to find it on the third page.
Yep.
When you have when it sounds like it's supposed to be together, it's like sometimes it's not.
Yeah, so because you have basically you're looking for two different vocab words in each question, right? And so you need to find the definition of each one and see which one is there. So you think you might have a lead and think might be, say for number one, dismay is, and they go, oh, what means dismay? And then you're trying to make it something.
The word, not how it's
Good, very good. What else did you guys discover about the meanings of some of the words? What was it about the meanings of some of the words? And Omar, what do you think?
That some of the meanings that when I looked at the paper, it had some of the words.
Mm-hmm.
The paper, it had like some words, and the definition, it had some words, so like that's how you get it easier.
So you would look for words, you would look for clues, context clues in your text, and see how they matched on the word list. Because they would use some of the exact words, right? I think it made it a little difficult for some of you because you notice by each word, so you'll see benefit, and it'll have a 1 and a 2. So that means that there's two different definitions, right? So there's two meanings to that word. And maybe if you're really used to one meaning of a word, it can make it confusing when they're using it in the context of the other meaning of a word. What else did you notice? Just looking at where it says word list and next to the words, what do you notice about that? What are some of the things that are on there that you wouldn't normally see in maybe a chapter book you're reading? What do you think?
I see that they give us like a sentence with the word in it.
Good. So they give you an example. What's right before the definitions that they give you? There's italicized right next to the definitions. What is it?
The word.
Oh, so you're seeing where they have below the word, they'll write out phonetically how you could say that word. So that tells you, if you know how to read that way, you can say a benefit. So you'll know how to say a benefit instead of pronouncing it a different way. Yep.
I know that there's like a V and an N.
All right. So that tells you that specific definition of that word, that V means it's a verb. So it's an action. And then the N means that's the definition of that word as a noun. So benefit, the verb form is to help or be helpful, but the noun form means something that is useful or helpful. So something that that performs an action that's hopeful. So in the cooking, in the kitchen, that might be a mixer to help you mix all of the ingredients instead of doing it all by hand. That benefits you.
Yeah.
All right. And also, so now just moving on to what we see by, I don't think any of you got into the narrative yet, or maybe you just got kind of close to it. It says Sequoia's gift. So just open to that page for now. It's on page 6. So if you haven't read it, that's okay. Because sometimes it helps just to skim something before you read to get an idea of what it is. Remember about all the aspects of close reading. So just skimming this text, it's called Sequoia's gift. What kind of text do you think this is? What do you notice in the text? What are they talking about? If you're just kind of skimming it and you see certain words that pop out, maybe some dates, what do you notice, Alejandro? Is the Cherokee.
Of the Cherokee Nation.
So does anyone know what the Cherokee Nation is? You guys ever heard of that before?
Yeah. No.
What do you know of Cherokees?
A what?
Or did you say yeah? Did you have heard it? Well, Cherokees are Native Americans. So if Sequoia is a Cherokee Indian, do we see anything about, are there any dates that you notice that can give us an idea about what time period maybe where this is being written about? Or what do you see, Davia?
I see 1809.
1809. So we know this is definitely way in the past. So do you guys think this might be, just guessing on what we've gathered, we gathered Sequoia. It says in the first sentence we just read, he was a remarkable man. And then we know he's a Cherokee. We know he lived during the early 1800s.
Yeah.
So we know he was in the early 20s of the 1800s too. So he was very active for at least 2 decades. So we know all of that before even reading it. And using all of that information, can we guess, do you think this is fiction or nonfiction?
Non-fiction.
Nonfiction. Why do you think so? Good.
Because this could be something that actually.
It could be something that happened. We know that Cherokees are real Indians. We know that 1809 was, a long time ago, but it wasn't so long ago that we don't have records of what was going on. Any other ideas? What do you think we might learn about Sequoia? Even without reading it, you can just take a guess what we might learn about it. What do you think?
What gift you give to the.
Good, because it says in the title, Sequoia's gift. So we look all at what the text offers us. So maybe he offers someone something. We don't know who, but
Was Sequoia can do that special?
why is he special? Very good. Any other questions you guys have on that one? Anything you can think of? What about the bold words? We see a lot of bold words in the text. What do you think those are? You might recognize some of them. Liliana.
There's the word from the word list.
Good. So they're on the word list. So they're being used again to show you how they can be used in yet another sentence. So you guys should have an idea now of what those specific words mean, or if not, you have your own little personal dictionary here to look them up. So just by looking over this narrative, we can, without even reading it all, you just take a quick glance, you can already give yourself, what dates a lot of this took place. You have an idea of what it's going to be about. You have some questions in your head about how is he going to be special? What is this gift going to be? You know that this is likely nonfiction. So there's plenty of ways you can go into these texts, even if they look pretty long, and say, wow, I can already gather this information before I even start reading. What's that?
Before reading it,
Mhm.
I see this part, and I think that his gift might be painting and making art that's really special, not feathers.
Good. That might be a very good idea because it does say in just the first sentence, he was a silversmith, a painter, and a soldier.
You could have lots of gifts about helping people out and inspiring.
Very nice. So that's definitely something we will be looking out for while reading. Alejandro. Mm-hmm.
I see the food famous because he was the only person in
our own alphabet goes way back. I don't think any one individual person is responsible for anything like that. So to be someone who is known for being an individual to create an entire alphabet, that's pretty impressive. So I'm sure that would be some information in that. It looks like he has a lot of different kinds of interests. So those would be things, bullet points to write down beforehand and just be thinking about also in your mind.